my good buddy, NFL Network analyst, compadre, former Jaguar, Raider, current radio analyst for your defending NFC champion Los Angeles Rams, Maurice Jones-Drew. How are you, MJD?
I'm doing well, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I know it took a couple of cracks for you to answer your phone. Are you one of those types that don't answer call numbers that you don't have in your phone? Are you those types, MJD?
Well, Rich, you told me it was a 310 number, so
Correct.
I was looking for a 310, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't on the phone when you called.
So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You do not answer phone calls that do not show up on your phone as somebody that you have in your phone. Is that true? Is that true?
Pretty much. You're 100% correct there.
It's tough to get through those pearly gates of the Maurice Jones-Drew phone book. It really is. Something else, man. You know? I like it. Everything good with you?
Everything's great. I heard you talking about Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter having time off. Well,
it's you too.
Kind of my off season, so I get a little time off, which is nice. Hang out with the kids and do some other adventures that I have going on back home. And
yeah, tell everyone how I caught you yesterday. Where you were heading when I picked up the phone yesterday.
Yeah, I'm the president of a youth football organization, so we had a board meeting yesterday when we were talking. I was on my way there. It was fun.
That's great.
Had some really good things going. Trying to keep it up.
I love it. All right, MJD, let's get to the meat and potatoes here. You're kind of my Le'Veon Bell whisperer. Not only are you a guy who knows him, you share an agent, you're also a running back of note yourself. What's going through his mind today when there's all these reports, conjecture, tweets, rumor that's been confirmed, sources say, all that business, that his new coach didn't want to have the salary handed to him that the general manager that he obviously won in a power struggle with handed Le'Veon. How's he taking that news, do you think, today?
Well, I think he went to Twitter and Instagram yesterday to talk about it, and from what I can gather, he was, it's the same with him. He has more to prove and he's not really worried about what people think about him, how much he's getting paid. He wants to go out and show that he's still the best running back in the league, and there's been a lot of grief for him not being at voluntary workouts and those type of things, but we've seen other players get hurt at those workouts, and it's, you have to preserve your body, because what's most important is when you get to fall camp, being in the best shape of your life, going to mini camp, which is mandatory, and doing the things there, showing that you're in top shape there, then making it through the season. The season's a marathon, and a lot of people don't really understand that because, basketball, you may have a 7-game series and those type of things. We all know in football it's one game. You got to be able to be at your best for 16 of those and possibly 3 more at the end. And so he's taking the proper precautions to do that. And so when I asked him about what Adam Gase and I talked to our agent about it, I mean, it's kind of like water's off a duck's back to him. He was like, if I go out there and I produce and I do what I did in Pittsburgh and help win games for the New York Jets, and then it'll all go away. But right now there's not a lot of news going around. And, obviously with the firing of McCagnon and all the reports coming out, he was like, it is what it is. I'm going to keep on what I feel like I can do and I can produce and be ready to go out and play.
So you don't think Adam Gase needs to call him and basically say what he really felt and confirm what's in the paper or say nothing, like literally just let's move on and that one strikes me as there needs to be some form of a conversation in Le'Veon's direction, don't you think, Maurice?
I think there will be when he comes back. It's funny, Rich, when I heard that report and I was reading it, I heard actually the total opposite coming out of this last season, that if Adam Gase and his staff and their front office would have still been in Miami, that they were going to break the bank for Le'Veon Bell to come down to Miami and keep him there. Now, that was from people in the building. That was from reporters that are they're daily reporters with the Dolphins. There was a ton of people saying that they were ready to break the bank. So it only made sense when Adam Gase went to the Jets that obviously Le'Veon Bell goes there. And so, there's always, everyone has a hindsight 50-50, whatever you want to call it. But I think sometimes we're trying to, as coaches, we always see that they always try to protect themselves, cover their butt and say, well, I didn't want to give him that much. Well, from what I heard, that he was willing to give him more in Miami if he was still in Miami. So, I don't know how these reports get out or how they're leaked or whatever it may be. As long as the Jets win, that's the most important thing. And they put together a great foundation of free agent pieces. They had a really good draft. And so now it's all on the coach to get all this talent that they've acquired over the last year, in the last couple of drafts with Sam Darnold and other players, to go out there and win. And so I think that's what's most important. If you don't call them, it's a little bit different than the Rosen situation, because these are just reports that are coming out. You don't have to call me over reports. Now, if you're going to trade me, I would like for you to, to get a phone call, which I heard Cliff Kingsbury did, and obviously Steve Keim didn't. But, that's a different scenario.
Well, let's put a pin in that for a second, because I want to hit that with you since you brought it up in a second. I just I put myself in other people's shoes. That's what I always try to do, and then try to put the listener and viewer in those shoes from my perspective, Maurice. If, let's just say, I'm fighting for what I think is a good salary for my hosting abilities, let's just say with the NFL Network, right? And the guy who finally gives me what I think is worth, or what I'm worth, or close to what I think I am worth, gives me that deal. And then all of a sudden, the other person who is as part and parcel of the production side of things at the NFL Network wins a power struggle within the building, and is now the one in charge. And the one who gave me the money is now gone. And I find out that the one who's now in charge didn't want to pay me what I thought I was worth. I would be so pissed. Now, I'd do the best job I possibly can because I'm a professional, but that would be in the back of my mind every single time that person sat down to go over a rundown with me or my schedule. I would never, ever forget it. Period.
Yeah, I don't think Le'Veon Bell is not going to. I think he's going to kind of tuck that away, along with a couple other things that have been said about him throughout this year off of football. And he's going to use that as motivation while he's training. I don't know if our listeners follow him on Instagram and Twitter, but they should, because every time I look up, he's always working out. He's always putting his best foot forward, and he looks really good. He looks like he's, back to his playing weight. And so I expect big things out of him. I think you'll see when he's carrying the ball. It's so funny. I tell people this all the time. Running backs are devalued until you need them in the fourth quarter to win a game.
That's right.
Then you want to give us the ball 15 times.
It's like lawyers, right? It's like lawyers.
Right, yeah. Exactly. That's what we're the lawyers of the NFL. And so it's so funny. And it's like, oh, he's not worth this. But then when the game's on the line and you got to run out the clock and you need a guy back there that can do it, you're going to do it. And so I think Le'Veon understands that. But please, let's not forget, he is human. He does understand, those things that are being said. He's going to harness those things, and he'll use those when the time is necessary.
And Kurt Warner tweeting out yesterday as well, saying that some coaches think that the players aren't worth the money, but they love coaching them, and that they separate the business from the football acumen, and that may be what Adam Gase is doing. I don't know. We'll do see how it all plays out, but all I know is the first time that Le'Veon Bell is required to show up for work and does stand in front of a microphone, and that's going to be his welcome to the New York media market. Oh, my gosh. I mean, seriously, this is right? You're not in Western Pennsylvania or East Lansing, Michigan anymore. I'm serious. This is serious business here now.
Well, the funny thing about it is, and I think a lot of people don't understand, is that Le'Veon, part of going to the Jets, because he had other offers that were pretty strong late in that thing, but it was the enticing of the city of New York and being able to play in front of, in the one, if not the biggest media market in the world, and having that type of pressure put on him. He thrives in those type of atmospheres. So he was excited to be there, and that's one of the reasons why he chose the Jets in that free agency race that they had for him.
Maurice Jones-Drew here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, you mentioned fellow Bruin Josh Rosen in his appearance here on this show on Monday, where I asked him to describe, his feelings now that he's removed from the raw emotions of what happened in Arizona. And he told us a story about how his former general manager, has referred to Steve Keim, never called him. And you just made mention of it just moments ago. Does that surprise you? Is that what you would expect a general manager to reach out to a player?
You would think so. I think sometimes general managers try to remove themselves from the business of being personally connected with players. But we as players understand going into this that, you're going to get cut. You have the chance of being traded. just treat me like a human being and not a piece of meat and not a package or not something that you just don't have to talk to. And I think Josh did a really good job of expressing that. Cliff Kingsbury did it. He's brand new to the NFL, and I guess Steve Keim has a lot to do. But what does it take to say, listen, Josh, sorry it didn't work out. You know, I wish you the best of luck in Miami. That takes 2 seconds to do that, or send a text, something. But to act as if he doesn't exist and he doesn't help you is beyond me. And so I think so many times, you know, these GMs in our business try to remove themselves. Like, well, you know, I don't want to get attached to a player because it's going to be hard to release them. That's part of the business. I remember when I first got to Jacksonville, Shaq Harris, who, you know, I think one of the better GMs in this league that's been in this league, told us in the first meeting, my job is to find a better version of you. So I'm going to keep you as long as I can find a better version of you, which is honest. If you're honest, and I know if I'm going out there and I'm not doing my job, you're going to find a better version of me. But when you try to, like, not show that emotion, not treat me like a person, or just not even act as if what you did, you know, you can do whatever you want, right? It's your team. You can do whatever you want. But at least give me the common courtesy to say, hey, I sorry things didn't work out. I wish you the best of luck.
Well, how did the kid who wore number 32, because that was the number of teams that picked on you, passing you up on the first round, how did that kid take that in real time when Shaq Harris said that to you sitting there?
Right. It was, you know, for me, it was like, I'm in a business. It's the NFL. This is what it is. And so I made sure that every day I went out to practice, I kept that in the back of my mind. I gave it my all. Every day we played, every game I played, I gave it everything I had. And until, obviously, my time was up in Jacksonville, and I went to Oakland for a year, and I tried to be the best player that I could be, so that because again, you're always, you know, I think our fans don't understand, every day you step in the building, you're being evaluated. And so you may walk wrong, you may talk to the wrong person the wrong way. All those things are being evaluated. And so you have to, you know, make sure that you are at your best every day. And it's tough to do. And so that's why I never really, you know, like when people were talking about Le'Veon not showing up to voluntary workouts, or Tom Brady and Gronk didn't do it last year, to me, you got to be at your best when your best is needed. And if you're either training at the facility or not training at the team facility is going to help you get to be your best, you got to do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, that's what we're being evaluated on. And so I would just hope that in the future, if it's Steve Keim or any other GM, have the common decency just to tell the player, you don't have to look me in my, like, just tell me, you know what, it's going to be okay. Like, I wish you the best of luck going forward. You know, it just didn't work out here. I don't think it's that hard to do those type of things when you know, draft a guy top 10 and then you come back the next year and draft a guy number 1. He knows he's probably not going to be there. But to act as if he doesn't exist is just not – it just – I don't know. I just don't even know how to explain that.
A few more minutes left with Maurice Jones-Drew here on the Rich Eisen Show. I know how the fan base reacts when there's news of somebody of Patrick Peterson's caliber, as Adam Schefter reported, dropping an appeal of a suspension for PED violation, a policy violation. He's going to get 6 games, according to Adam, handed down shortly. How does the player community react to news of somebody of Patrick's caliber?
It's always tough to see that. You know, you wish him the best when he comes back, and whatever happened, like, you just never know what was positive in those situations. But, you know, it sucks because he's such a great player, and he's done so well for so long for that organization. Now it's kind of like a chink in the armor, but hopefully he can come back better and go out there and make plays and get back to the guy that we saw on the field the last how many ever years he's been in the league. I don't think his play has ever dropped off.
And then the Rams, sir, in that division. Now that Murray's in there, that's going to be so much fun. I mean, this division just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. And obviously Jimmy G is coming back. We know what Seattle's moves are. They've paid Russell Wilson. It looks like the Rams minus Sue, right? I'm kind of going off the top of my head here.
Yeah.
It looks like they're just going to run it back, add the draft picks. They added Weddle, who I love, Clay Matthews, who's going to have, you want to talk about chip on his shoulder in Southern California, and Cup comes back. What are your thoughts on the team that you call and you know so much about, MJ?
Well, I think, again, when they really did a great job of building foundational pieces last year throughout free agency, getting Akeem to lead, Marcus Peters, obviously via trade. You had Sue. But now you go out, you're able to draft some guys that can come and play those positions. They took a D tackle out of Washington, undersized kid, but he's tough versus the run, and he's going to be able to take up those double teams, something that Sue really did and excelled at in the playoffs. So I think you're adding obviously Cup coming back, which is going to be huge. You've added another running back, a couple more offensive linemen. They've done a really good job of sticking to their plan. As other teams have gotten better, obviously Seattle pays Russell Wilson, makes him the highest paid. They go add a couple receivers in the draft. They've done a great job. It's going to be a tough division. The one thing that I've always been concerned about, really, and it goes with the Cardinals, is Josh Rosen was sacked so many times last year, and yet they really didn't address that offensive line the way that I thought they would. Now, granted, they're going to get some guys back because of injuries and things like that, but you don't want a young quarterback like Kyler Murray to start running early in his career, because once you take off and start running early in your career, that's what you're going to get used to and accustomed to, and you'll do that throughout your career. Yes, he can do it, and he's a tremendous talent, but you have to make sure that he can win from the pocket. So far, I had a talk with Charlie Castley, one of our colleagues at NFL Network, and he always harps on, you have to win from the pocket. You can be able to run and have that dynamic, but if you can't win from the pocket, it's going to be tough to win in this league, and that's really true, because as offensive linemen, they have to know where you're going to be at all times, so that they can protect you and block at certain angles. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do. Really excited to see what the Niners do. I think the Niners are closer than what people think. But we'll see how Jimmy G is. It all relies on Jimmy G. He got paid a lot of money, right? And there's a high expectation for him. He got hurt last year, so how could he come back? They've added some really good pieces throughout the draft and free agency to help that defense and offense. So I'm excited to see. It's going to be an exciting offense. I know I'll see you at the Coliseum a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
So when that happens, it's going to be some fireworks out there for us.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. MJD, you're great. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Enjoy time with your family, kids, and youth football. Enjoy it.
All right, I appreciate it, Riz. I'll see you later.
We'll check in soon. That's Maurice Jones-Drew at MJD. Love that guy.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.